for football season. Will this set the pace with the ACC deciding to take this approach? What the others are going to do?
I think it's possible, but at the end of the day, every conference has to do what's best for them. I know that everybody's going to look at the SEC because that's probably the gold standard as far as conferences go, especially when it comes to football. And I know other conferences are going to look at them and say, okay, let's kind of monitor what the SEC is doing and how are their teams being impacted by this, and how difficult is it for them at their point to get through an entire season. But I think it's probably going to be like the conferences did in college football. They're all going to do pretty much their own thing for the sake of their own conference and their kids in their own schools. Because bottom line, the directors of these conferences and these athletic directors have to look out for their schools and their kids, as opposed to everything that everybody else is doing. That's the bottom line. Take care of your kids first, and then everything else just, whatever happens after that, that happens. But at least their kids are taken care of, and the schools and the parents and the kids are seeing, okay, the leadership is caring about us, as opposed to what the SEC is doing, and everybody's trying to follow along with them instead of them setting the standard for themselves.
Right. So I'm curious to see how this is going to play out, and
I know if I was a commissioner of a conference, that's what I would do. I would look out for my kids and my schools and my parents first before I look at anybody else, because that is the bottom line for me. That's my job. That's why you appointed me to be the commissioner of X conference or Y conference or Z conference, to look out for our kids and nobody else.
Yeah, and as you should, of course, definitely. And I'm just, curious to see how this is going to play out. If any indication was for NCAA football, and if that's going to be any close to what we're going to see with baseball for NCAA, or if something's going to, change there. So I'm, we'll get to learn more as the weeks ahead and as the season approaches for college baseball. So,
and I would think that the SEC would have a plan B situation. Wouldn't you, Joe? A major conference like that would have a plan B. Should there be an outbreak? Hopefully, we pray that there's not. But in the event that there is, they've got to be able to have a fallback plan. Like, okay, we kind of knew this was going to happen. Okay, so here's our plan B situation. Here's our plan C situation. If it completely goes off the rails and you can't get a full season in.
Oh, definitely. And in any plan that you make for what, in sports or just in general, you have to have a contingency plan in place should your, plan A go off the rails or deviate for whatever reason, and it's not to what you had hoped for. So you have to. I don't see why they wouldn't.
Yes. Everything is fluid, even with the lives you and I lead and our families and everybody, all of our fine listeners and viewers. Everything is fluid. There's nothing set in stone as far as life is concerned, and it probably never will be. Even once we get past this pandemic situation, I'm glad we've got the vaccines rolling out and everything. But even once we get past this, it's still nobody knows what happens from one second to the next, and of course that translates to sports too.
Definitely. So I want to go ahead and move to a little excitement with going back to talking MLB. We have the Hall of Fame announcement soon approaching, January 26th, in just a little bit over a week. We'll get to hear if there would be any newcomers, any new Hall of Fame inductees that would be joining Derek Jeter and Larry Walker. They are the class of 2020 for MLB for the Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, going into Cooperstown. So there will not be any first-time players on the ballot, any first-timers on the ballot this year. So some of those that will be on the ballot who have been there previously.
There's some big names. I'm looking right at them right with you, Joe.
So a few of those names are Curt Schilling, Roger Clemens, and Barry Bonds, who are going on the ballot for a 9th year. They need to have 75% to enter. Curt Schilling came close last year with just 70%, 5% short of what is needed. A couple other names I'll just throw out there that have been on the ballot previously, but they just haven't been able to make that mark, are one of the greatest out there, Omar Vizquel, Willie Wagner, are just a couple others to throw out there.
Yeah, Sammy Sosa's on that list too. He's also in his 9th year, but he's at 14%. So he's far from that 75% needed.
He's at the way bottom of the list.
Yeah.
So do you see any of these names that I mentioned that you believe will be part of the 2021 Hall of Fame class?
I don't see Roger Clemens jumping 14% in his voting at 61% to go to 75. I know he's had a checkered history along with Barry Bonds. He hasn't been, had a frosty relationship with the media, which I'm sure, and his situation with the steroids and all that stuff. That's probably why he's at 61% because of his relationship
which is why I posed a question.
Yeah. Now, if he was Mr. Squeaky Clean, of course he would have been a first ballot. With the all-time home run king. But Omar, I'd love to see Omar in there, but 53%, I don't think he's going to jump 22%. And these first-time guys, Tim Hudson, Mark Burley, Torrey Hunter, I love Torrey Hunter when he played, Dan Herron, Barry Zito. There's a lot of good names there. Aramis Ramirez, Shane Victorino. There's a lot of good names there, but I don't think they're not Hall of Fame material.
Yeah. So what do you think about Curt Schilling? Do you think he'll make it this year?
Ooh, I think he could get 5% more votes and get to 75%. I'd love to see Curt in there. Curt was a heck of a player. And of course he had a lot of good years with your team up in Massachusetts.
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Bloody sock.
Yep.
I remember that moment.
Bloody sock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What a night that was, huh?
Goodness sakes. I don't even think I slept that night, to be honest. So,
no.
For me, I'm in a way.
What do you think, Joe? Who do you think can get in there? Do you think Curt gets in?
I'm hoping that Curt gets in this year. It would be something bittersweet. It sucks to see him, be in his 9th year and still not be able to get into all, with Diamondbacks, with Boston Red Sox. So. That would be one that I would like to see. The other one, it's very, very slim that he would go ahead and jump the 20% that is needed to make that 75 would be Omar Vizquel.
Yes.
Because I know he was one of those that I did get to see when I was young and growing up. One of my, just phenomenal out there on the field. He's one of the first players that I was introduced by my father.
So many great years with the Cleveland Indians. He had so many a lot of all-star years and a lot of gold gloves. Had some really good years in Seattle before he went to Cleveland. Omar was a player. Loved him.
He was. So kids out there who are learning the game of baseball that you are wanting to, studying the game or whatnot, go and watch some Omar Vizquel video. You will learn a lot from this guy. He's not a household name or a name that you hear out there very often, but he was a phenomenal player, and I think he's Hall of Fame material, and I'm surprised that he does not have more votes, inching closer to that 75% into the Hall of Fame. Yeah,
53% to jump 22%. That's a tall order. Even as good as Omar was, man, was he a player. I loved him. Saw him out there at shortstop. You saw him at shortstop, Joe. He was a shutdown shortstop. He was a shutdown shortstop.
He's actually one of the reasons why I played shortstop.
Really?
Just seeing him play. Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah. I don't think it's impossible. Could it happen? It could. But like you mentioned, it's a tall order. But I would love to see Omar. I know my amazing girl, Candace Oler, she knows Omar, and she, when she was up in Seattle when he played, and I know she would be very happy to also see her guy Omar in the Hall of Fame. So, and then we'll have to have her on here soon as we get close to the baseball season, and baseball season starts to talk some baseball. So we'll definitely extend out the invitation to her. But yes, very interesting to see. It's a very unique year for the Hall of Fame. But I am excited to see, finally, we'll get to see that enshrinement to the Hall of Fame for Derek Jeter, who I've just been very excited for. It's going to be an off year, a different year, but nonetheless, it will be bittersweet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It won't be the kind of enshrinement that he was looking for, but he'll still get that bust. That's all that matters. And he can claim that he is a pro baseball Hall of Famer and well deserving. Him and Walker.
Yes, definitely.
Larry Walker was a beast in Colorado. Man, I loved him.
Yeah. So I don't remember too much of Larry Walker.
You don't?
Mm-mm.
The ultimate baseball girl, and you don't remember Larry Walker?
Not too much.
Oh my goodness.
I said not too much.
Okay.
Not that I could not completely not remember, but
just not a lot of Larry Walker.
Not a lot. Yeah. Not a whole lot.
Man, he was an outstanding player.
Not like Randy Johnson or Ken Griffey Jr. or any of those other players, or Sammy Sosa. So I know there's like so many great players out there, but.
Or Mark McGwire, you know.
Mark McGwire.
Yep.
Yeah. The list can keep going and going and going.
Yes, it can. Oh.
So, but yes, definitely. So I'm very, very excited. I'll probably set up another countdown on my social media for January 26th to hear the big announcement and who will be enshrined into 2021 Hall of Fame. So Baseball Hall of Fame. All right. My goodness. And
the same Larry Walker that won the MVP in 1997, you don't remember that guy? Huh. Joe, and you call yourself a baseball fan. Now the PLR is coming out in me.
Oh my gosh. I didn't say I didn't remember the guy.
The man hit 49 home runs that year, Joe, 130 RBIs. He made the All-Star game, Gold Glove, and the MVP in that year. And he was a Silver Slugger. You don't remember him? How old were you in 97? Were you okay?
97. I was.
Oh, you were a little girl. You're a
little girl.
Yeah, that was 24
I'm
years,
not
almost 25.
Disclose my age.
Okay, yeah, ladies don't disclose their age. Duh, why did I ask that?
I was a little girl.
Yeah.
Yes.
So of course you couldn't know about Larry Walker. So I forgive you for that.
Yes.
But there's YouTube. There's no excuse for you to not watch.
I didn't say I didn't know of him.
I know.
Or didn't
just didn't know a lot
him.
of him.
Yes, I don't know.
I know.
Like a whole lot about him.
I'm just messing with you.
Goodness.
He had some years with the Montreal Expos. Do you remember the Montreal Expos before they moved to Washington?
Expos.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would love for Montreal to get another baseball team. That'd be awesome.
Me too.
Yes.
Yes. That would be amazing. But I don't know if we'll see that happen, but yeah, that would be really neat. It was kind of sad to see the Expos, be taken away and moved elsewhere, but it's part of the business and what happens from time to time. So what can you do? But it would be, I was actually thinking about that not too long ago. It would be like, something about Montreal, and then I was like, like they had the Expos. So it'd be really nice to see them have a baseball team again. So
yes,
that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
Until things changed, but yeah. So Ed, it has been fun. I know we can keep talking as we always can and talk sports, but we are out of time.
2 hours are up already?
They are up already.
Wow. How great were the guests we had tonight?
Amazing, as always. Two of my favorite people, PLR, the amazing Eileen Carrasco. She's just so wonderful.
Yes.
So
Classy
have
lady.
them both on. Yeah.
PLR was in the mood